I think every disagreement needs to start with some agreement. That's agreement about how we're going to have the exchange, and that's disagreement about what the debate is actually about. Good Arguments is a book that collects everything I've learned over 15 years of involvement as a competitive debater and a debate coach. And it's a case for saying that at a time when bad disagreements seem to be our problem, that the opposite of bad disagreement is not agreement, but is good disagreement. And that can be the key to happier lives, deeper relationships, and to flourishing societies. When you write a book called Good Arguments, you want to have it figured out what a good argument is. And at the beginning, I wanted to be hyperbolic about it. I wanted to say good arguments can change your perspective, expand your horizon, enrich your personal life, and take you further on in your career. And I think it can do all of that, but I ultimately settled on a more modest proposition, which is that a good argument is one in which both sides walk away feeling like they would do that again. Because at the end of the day, that's all it takes for the conversation to continue. So on the internet, as on life, I think every disagreement needs to start with some agreement. That's agreement about how we're going to have the exchange, and that's disagreement about what the debate is actually about. And a lot of the problems that we see online essentially comes down to crosstalk. You're talking past the person on the other side of the screen in order to win applause from people you already agree with. Or you're talking about one subject and then the other person slightly changes that, or they bring in something else that's unrelated, and you fail at any given time to connect. So online, as in real life, you want to first start by clarifying, this is what we are talking about at this time. And for the duration of that discussion, everything else should be off the table. Now, in my view, a lot of that is much easier to do in real life, where you can see the person across from you, where there isn't this hypothetical audience of the entire world watching the exchange unfold. So it may be that you want to start by trying to get to that point of agreement, and sometimes it may pay to turn off the screen too. There's plenty to be alarmed about once you start going down that path. You might be worried about the personal attacks where we confuse people's views for who they are and we suggest they're incapable of changing. We might be concerned about the toxic tenor in which we talk to one another. But the thing that keeps me up at night is the thought that in and amongst all of this noise, all this pain, there's a great number of people out there who are turning off the concept of disagreements entirely. I'm part of a generation that says in their social lives, we're going to find our people. And who says in their political lives, we're going to mobilize and turn out the base. I think something is lost in that avoidance of conflict. It can look at the personal level like a kind of self-betrayal of not letting your guard down enough to fully express what you think. It can involve holding all relationships at the arm's length and of closing oneself to alternative views. And I hope that debate empowers people to take part in that conversation again. So this is a lesson I learned the painful way, which was by getting my behind kicked by a rival debater who was a kind of a master of rebuttal. And her name was Deborah. And she would be able to point out with perfect clarity all of your errors in reasoning and in fact. And it wasn't until I debated with her and on her side that I learned the secret to her approach to rebuttal, which was that before she went into the debate, she had thought about the other side's best arguments in more detail perhaps than they had. And that during the debate, she took a perfect set of notes on exactly what the opposition had said in all of its strengths. And I think her thesis was that before you can make your point, you have to listen. You have to make sure that your intervention connects to whatever has come before. So counterintuitively, I think the best thing one can do to develop one's argumentative practice is to listen, and I think debating is at its core an activity in listening.